Hello everybody. I thought I would show you what I was doing in my art journal while Enzo was undergoing surgery and we're staying in New York. I brought it with me because I knew I'd have to do some waiting around, and it sort of kept my mind off of things a little bit. So what I did is I'd already done a practice doodle for some black and white daisies, and I wanted to make it a page in my journal. So I started to do it, and if you've ever doodled before like this, you know you can sort of get lost in it, and any worries and anxiety will sort of just drift away for a short time, but you know, every little bit helps. But I came across some issues and I thought I'd like to share those with you. What I did was I used my all-loving favourite Tombows. And I thought I just wanted this to be in black and white. And so I used this Tombow dual pen. So it's got a bullet end and a brush end for those that aren't familiar with them. And I'd previously tried to stamp in here because I thought I was going to mimic the sunflower here. But I found that my stamp had a few little marks on the inside, so I could not get that. It was slightly damaged, so I couldn't get a clean mark. And also, the plan I thought I would have was to stamp it and then sort of colour it in. Well, I don't know about you, but that seems ever so fussy. And right now, whilst I'm still practising my artistry, I thought I would keep it simple. Keep it simple. So I started to doodle these little daisies, or whatever they might be, with the bullet end of this Tombow. As I was working over the page, I lifted up my hand and I had all this black ink all the way up here. I had it, in fact I still have it on my thumb where I was holding the page down here, so you need to be a little bit mindful of that. I have another page on the other side here behind this insert here, and I'm going to do it in blue just because I can, and I wanted to show you really how I did it. I put gesso on here and I wanted to see how the gesso would react. I think I probably should have put another coat of gesso on here. I think there are two, but my gesso isn't very good quality. But I'm still going to doodle over this anyway, and I'm not really going to worry about it too much. So what I recommend you do, if you're doodling, just get yourself a handy napkin, and if you do what I do, because I'm doing this on my lap, just catch hold and keep your page down like so. So you've got a little bit of paper underneath it. You're not going to damage anything. And that you could avoid. It was worse than that earlier on. And then here, I thought what I'd do, I'm going to show you on the other side. Just rest your hand on the napkin as you work. And that'll avoid you getting all this stuff up here. Now, the other thing I plan to do with this is, again, I tested it somewhere else, is if you can see, there are lots of little gaps in between each of the designs. And I decided to colour those in black. Oh, yes, I have. So, you know that since these beautiful Tombows are water-based, I am going to have my handy napkin with me at all times. So what I'm going to show you, this actually, it's really weird. When you start to draw these little daisies, they don't really look like anything at all. And then I just sort of mindlessly just fill in the gaps, draw another one, do another one, fill in the gaps, and just keep going. And then I look back and I think, oh, look at that. Oh, what I've managed to produce. As you're working, it's really strange because they don't look like much, But actually it turns out, for me, it turns out to be really pleasing design. So what I wanted to do is, because I'm trying to create artwork that I can use in my own journals, I'm going to have a black and white one, and I'm going to have a blue and white one. So on this little handy page back here, and I'm going to pin these pages together so that I'm not touching this one. On this page here, I'm going to start doing a blue one, but as you can see the writing. Actually, you know what I'm going to have to do? Look, because I've already started to hold on to it, and I know I'm going to get a dirty thumb. So I'm just going to hold on to it there. What I think I'm going to do when I finish that, I am going to lay the tissue over the top of it, and when I think it's sort of dry enough, I'm going to spray it over in some very fine hair lacquer, because I don't really know how else to seal it. So if you've got any ideas on how I might be able to do that, please let me know. Okay, so at the moment this is going to be clean, so I'm not going to be worrying about putting a piece of napkin under my hand here. So I'm just going to show you how I started putting it together. So I want the pen end, and this is how I did it. Basically, circle. Actually, I've got my glasses on, I don't need those on. Okay, circle. I'll get myself organised. And it simply is, do a little flower just like that. And it's not going to be perfect. It's just a real simplified version of a flower, just like that. Then what I do with all of those, once I've done all the flowers, I sort of just do a little thing there, because I started doing it because I was sort of just doodling, and so I started doing it, so I had to do all the flowers. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one here, right? So what I'm going to do is one at a different angle, and I'm going to try and tuck it behind this one here. There we go. And I might make those petals a little narrower so it looks like it's just a slightly different shape, and then I'm going to just shorten those petals on the other side so it just looks a little bit different. Again, it's not probably how it's supposed to be, and I think I'm getting used to making these stylized drawings, which is probably not a good thing, but I actually quite like it. And for the time being, while Enzo's undergoing some quite complex surgery, I think I'm owed myself some downtime. Now the next one I'm going to do, because I want to make it slightly different than the rest so it doesn't all look too samey, is I'm going to make those petals a little bit bigger. I'm still going to do some of this in the middle of it, and then I'm going to start to fill this page just like I've done this one. Once I've done all of them, and you know, it took me, I want to say it's taken me a couple of days on and off. Once I finished all the flowers, and I even tried to take them out to the edges too, out here, just do like little ends of petals or half flowers so that you get to fill up the whole page. Then once I've done that, I'm going to put this pen end together, and I'm going to work with the other end, and I'm just going to colour in these little areas here, like so. Nothing too complicated. Because now I'm going to go back to the black and white one, and I'm going to show you an issue that I came across that I'm going to have to fix. So we'll fix it together. There it is. Okay. I tried to do, let me see if I can see. Okay, let me see. Can I see that? This little flower here, I didn't carry on the petals at the back. I thought I might see what it looked like if I give it a different shape. However, if I fill in all these areas in black, the problem is you won't see that there's a flower there at all, because this black will just blend into the background of the black. So you really want to try to get, if you're going to do what I'm doing here, you really do want to make sure you get some white space like that. And then this area is black, that area is black, and you'll still be able to see this little shape of a flower here. So yeah, that was a little issue. And any smudging that's happened because here is where I had my thumb placed some of the time, and here. I actually don't mind that. I think when I start to colour all the white spaces in, I think it's going to look totally different. So I'm going to carry on with the blue one, only because Enzo's coming out of his surgery later and I'm going to have to leave it, and I didn't want to start something that I really couldn't finish because I know I'm going to enjoy doing it. So I'm just going to carry on filling this page in, and I think what I'll do is I'll get all the flowers done on both pages, and then I'll begin to colour in the background and we'll come back and see what it actually looks like. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this area here, but you know, it's my little journal book, my little art journal, and I don't really mind too much. It's going to have to stay there. I wonder what it'll look like once I've painted everything in. I keep calling these paints. They're like watercolours. I keep calling them paints. Anyway, so for the time being, it's I'll catch up with you later from me and my Tombow. See you in a bit. Okay, so I wanted to show you that I just finished this page. It took me an afternoon. I couldn't go and visit Enzo in hospital, so I just doodled and had some fun with this. And I've used, let me just show you a minute because I've got my camera in my hand a minute. I've used my Tombow, it's a blue one, 565. Now this page is from my, what am I doing here? This is from my art journal, so it's an altered book. And what I did was I gessoed this page here, but I only gessoed it with what I think I had 2 layers. So you can still see the writing through underneath, but you know, if you come away, you can't really see it at all. It just looks like a bunch of flowers. So let me just uncover the other one a second so you can see what I've done. So I have this page, which is a servietted page, which you'll see in the other video I made of me starting my art journal. So these are black and white, and I've added a little bit of detail on these little flower shapes. And I wanted to show you the difference between adding detail and not adding detail. So there's a little bit of detail there. And as you can see, there's the flowers around them have no detail on them other than what I doodled. So as you can see, it does make a huge difference. So let me just show you what I did. I'm just going to take the little pen end of my Tombow jewel brush, and let's just do this one. And all I'm going to do is just go boom, 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 boom on each petal. Doesn't have to be exact. You just get a little bit of a shape made when you make those little, makes it look like the leaves are, there's a center to the leaf. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that center and I'm going to take the more brush style end of the jewel pen, and I'm just going to colour that in. Do you know what I love about this particular colour? And I don't know if it's because, look at the colour it is when it goes on fresh, but it then pales off into something that looks like denim. I actually love that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry on colouring these little bits, and I'm making the tiny little marks on each of the leaves. And we're going to have another look at it when all that's done. But see how simple that is. Just a simple little. If you can make your flowers and the petal shapes different, you can see you can get some sort of depth and shadow, and they look a little bit more like a wild collection of daisies. So I'm going to start colouring them in, and I'm going to get back to you, see how I go. So since I wasn't able to visit Enzo last night because he was still in recovery quite late on in the evening, I just carried on with my little piece of artwork, filling my page here, and I think it came out really well. I'm really surprised at the colour. Now, I don't know if that is as a result of putting down gesso. It was quite tricky. I couldn't really, let me see how to explain it. This paper, which is the altered book, even with the gesso over it, is really quite absorbent. So when I applied the Tombow brush end of the jewel pen, it really did want to suck that fluid out of there. So it had the potential to be quite blobby. Also, I was doing it on my lap, and which I found quite difficult. You can see here just how much more pale it is than here. These were the first ones I did, and the first ones I coloured in, so it's had plenty of time to dry. Now, whether or not this is still drying, I'm not sure, but what I'm going to do is put a piece of napkin over this and close the book loosely. But there's the blue one. Now the black one, I still haven't coloured in. Well, I'm back from New York, and I wanted to show you my daisies. See how I got on, because I did have quite a bit of downtime in between visiting. And we're going to start with the blue one, because as I was explaining to you, I wasn't sure whether it was the drying of the image that made it look more denim in areas than in others, or whether maybe it was just as a result of the amount of gesso that was actually laid down onto this page, since it's an altered book. But I love it. And I finished off the black one. So let me show you that. And there it is. I even like the smudging. So as you can see, just doing some simple daisies, you can end up with actually a rather beautiful page. It is doodling in the extreme, because there's just simple shapes. It's a simple colouring technique. But for those of you who are taking the trouble to follow me, then you'll know this is all part of my journey to create my own cardstock, my own paper for creating other journal inserts, etc. And also, it's also a journey into teaching myself how to use the different equipment that now is available outside of just oils, acrylics and watercolours. So all this is being done with Tombow. Now, to this end, I really sort of got excited about it, and I was really quite disappointed when it finished. So I'm going to show you what I did. I hope you're ready for it. I like the blue. I love the black. Let me get my other sketchbook. Okay, remember this trusty Old Glory? Well, I'm still working in it. This is what I took to New York. So when I finished the other two, and I had actually learned my lesson when it came to this about bleed through and allowing those Tombows to dry out properly before applying more liquid on top of the page to avoid it bleeding through. like here, I set out to do a whole page, and this is 20, what size is it? Does it tell me what size it is? Okay, 9 inches by 12. And for those of you in the Europeans, it is 22.9 centimeters by 30.5 centimeters. So it's quite a substantial size. So since I had already put something down in my art journal, I wanted to do a whole page. And I thought I'd tackle it in a different color. And here she is. There you go. I hope you can see that. I really loved doing this. This is in that beautiful crimson color that you get in the, I think it's in the Tombow primaries, or I don't know which one it is. But I know I'd used it before. But they're very, very tiny daisies, and I thoroughly enjoyed actually colouring this in. I must admit though, I did reach a point where I was wanting to see it done, and it wasn't, and I sort of didn't get bored, just got a little bit irritated somewhere near the middle. You know, at that point, you know you have to put it down and come back to it when you can enjoy it, because the thing is with doodling and doing art in this form, it's about you having some downtime. It's not about you trying to finish something as fast as possible. And so you need to sort of learn that along the way, because a piece of work like this does actually take time. I just didn't realize how long it would take, because as you can see, it's twice the size of my art journal. But I still enjoyed it. And so I thought I'd like to show you this. There you have it. I'm so happy for you to have joined me on my journey. And for those of you that are new here, feel free to subscribe and like and do all those things you've got to do. Apparently it helps. And I'll get back to you with another little project. Will I be using my Tombows again? Yes. And I'm already, because I finished this one, I've already started another one on a different sort of paper. So that'll be something to look forward to showing you for sure. So for now, I hope you're having or will have an absolutely marvelous day. And so for now, it's ciao from, what am I calling my channel? It's Our Time to Play. That's what I've called our channel. And I hope you'll be joining me again soon. Have an absolutely wonderful day. And if you have had your full day, I hope it was the best ever. And I hope to see you again soon. Ciao for now.